Hey there guys, how are you all doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review and welcome back. So can you believe it, after weeks and weeks of rumors and leaks and tweets and weird egg packages showing up at people's offices, we finally have had it confirmed that Spyro the Dragon, the entire trilogy, will be getting a remaster sometime this year. So yeah man, this is crazy. We've been hearing rumors about this for quite a while, and it had a lot of people really excited, which I have to say made me excited. I tweeted about this recently. I've actually been surprised to see how many people over the last couple of months have been so into the idea of Spyro the Dragon getting remastered of the full trilogy and this whole new package of all these Spyro games. I really never realized that people were as into Spyro as they are. I mean, I'm somebody who remembers the first game when it launched on the PlayStation 1, and it's a really good game, and it's definitely the kind of platformer that I definitely have a soft spot for. But over the years, I just never realized that so many people were still attached to these games, and now that we've had the confirmation of the trilogy remaster coming, people are like super excited about it, and like I said, I just think that that's really cool. So we only know so many details about this. We know that it is, exactly as the title suggests, the Spyro the Dragon trilogy remaster. So it's just like they did with the Crash Bandicoot games recently. Spyro the Dragons 1 through 3 are getting the remaster treatment and releasing this year on September 21st for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and we might notice that the Nintendo Switch is curiously absent. Apparently it's going to launch for $40 too, which I believe the Crash Trilogy remaster did as well. And I mean, this is really cool news. The trailer, the reveal trailer of this thing was really fantastic because it shows what the game looks like visually. And similar to the Crash Insane Trilogy remaster, I mean, they've done an amazing job taking these really awkward PS1 Generation 1 era games and their like super strange polygonal graphics, which I do have a nostalgic memory of, but really aren't that great and don't age very well. They did an amazing job of taking these games and the character models and the environments of them, both from Crash and now we see from Spyro, and making them look absolutely beautiful. And weirdly enough, it's also what they just did with the Shadow of the Colossus remake as well. And it's, you know, those are very different games stylistically. The art styles from Shadow of the Colossus or the Crash and the Spyro games, completely different. Those games, you're using a very kind of cartoony art style, lots of bright colors, lots of round shapes. The Shadow of the Colossus world and look is very angular, it's very dark, there's not a whole lot of colors, but there's a lot more of a realistic touch to it. So they really have achieved something amazing with what they're doing with these remasters that are all built on initially PlayStation hardware and even launching initially, or in the case of Shadow exclusively, on the PS4. So definitely kudos to the work they're doing. I can't believe that after all this time and everyone was getting so excited about Spyro the Dragon, give me this trilogy remaster, it turned out to be true, man. And I'll tell you what, and it's weird, this comes off of two recent conversations that are relevant. One was about the remaster situation, where I even referenced at that time, whatever, a month or two ago, the fact that there were still rumors of the Spyro the Dragon remaster coming at some point. And then also recently, kind of touching on leaks and stuff with the Pokemon video I made, that we are actually seeing more and more leaks consistently turn out to actually lead to something. It's really pretty interesting. I mean, I certainly was believing that the Spyro the Dragon trilogy was probably a leak that we could believe in, but now that we've actually seen it confirmed, it's like, man, more and more of these things are getting out there. And it's just kind of a curious situation. I might make a different video topic specifically on the leaks and the validity of them sometime in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole here, but either way, it's just really great to see, and I'm really excited for it. Now, let's touch on the release situation here, because like I said, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, both confirmed September 21st this year, and like I said earlier, no Nintendo Switch version, and there has been a lot, and I mean a lot, of conversation about the Switch version once this information came out. Everyone, and rightfully so, is saying, hey man, like, where's our Switch version? How could you dare possibly be willing to skip the Switch? A, because the system is selling so well, B, because software moves like crazy on it, and C, because you just announced the Crash Trilogy remaster is now also coming to the Switch. And like I said, very good points. I totally agree with that. I think they would be out of their damn minds to never release this game on the Nintendo Switch. And one little thing has happened. I mean, I don't know how exactly official this is, but apparently on Nintendo's UK website or their UK store, there was a post that went up that showed an available pre-order link for Spyro the Dragon on the Nintendo Switch for $39.99, the normal price it's supposed to be. I don't know if that's still up now. I haven't looked at that before recording this video, but it was apparently up at some point. I didn't see it myself, but a lot of people were saying it was there, and now everyone's like, oh, is this confirmation, or is this a leak or a hoax? Is this fake? Is this something where everyone needs to just calm down and chill out and wait to see what's going to happen? Personally, I'll give you my take on this, guys. Personally, I think that there is an 80 to 90% chance this game is going to come to the Switch. I wouldn't really worry about it. There really is no reason for them not to bring this game to the Switch. And in my opinion, with the game being so far off, it's like 6 months away, September 21st, the end of September, all the way past summer, and we haven't even started summer yet. I mean, there's a really good chance that that game is already being worked on for the Nintendo Switch, will be announced sometime very, very soon, probably before E3 or maybe even during E3 for the Nintendo Switch. And then why wouldn't they be able to get that game to release the same day? I think there's a good shot, not a lock, mind you, so don't hold me to this. I'm just saying there's a good shot that if this game is announced for Switch, it might also end up being a day-and-date release, and I think that would be fantastic, very, very smart, a huge move. I've talked about this before. Personally, I think not everyone may agree with this, and that's totally cool, but for me, I think it is important eventually to get to the point where third-party multi-platform ports to the Nintendo Switch need to be getting closer and closer to the same day and date, if not ideally on the same day and date. I think that there is an importance to that the longer and longer into the Switch's life we go, because eventually people may get to the point where they're tired of waiting and they say, why am I waiting? It's really, once we get past year 2 into the Switch's life, there really won't be a good excuse for games to be coming late to the Switch, unless there's like a problem that happens in the development, and that's maybe a different story. But I feel like with the possibility that a Switch version of Spyro could get announced, and then my own theory that it could also get released, the same day as a PS4 and Xbox One, I think it would be a huge step to making this happen more and more. It would be a great thing. I think it would be very good for the game and healthy for Nintendo's release schedule. So there's a lot to kind of wait and see, but at the end of the day, I think it's great the game was announced. Even if it never comes to the Switch, I don't really care. I will still pick it up on one of those other consoles, probably PlayStation, but I'm definitely going to play it regardless. However, yeah, I want to see it on my Switch, man. This kind of game makes so much sense for Switch. It will sell so well. Activision will be so happy. Nintendo will be so happy. Gamers and Spyro the Dragon fans will all be really happy. It just makes a lot of sense. So, September 21st, $40, PS4 and Xbox One for now. Maybe sometime soon we get that Switch release. Now, really quickly, I wanted to talk about one other really exciting piece of news. That's right, it's a twofer today. You guys are getting 2 topics from me on one video, which I have not done in a very long time. It's actually kind of funny because when I first started the channel, that was all that I did for the first couple of months, back when I was a tiny, tiny little channel. I had not shown my face to anyone yet, and I was making like 1 video a week or every 2 weeks or whatever, and it was like really hard for me to make videos. And so my goal was, I'm going to put 2 topics in every video that I make. And yeah, I did that for, you know, a couple months when I had like probably less than 100 subscribers. So either way, the point is, this is another really cool thing, and just like the Spyro thing, it's very exciting and it's really good news. We have finally seen, courtesy of PAX, we have finally seen actual footage of Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, running on the Switch. I mean, what can be said about this, man? This game has been, the Switch port of this game has been a mystery. The game hasn't been a mystery because it's been out since October for PS4, Xbox One, PC, so many people have played through and beaten the game, so the game hasn't been a mystery. But what about the Switch port that was announced in a Nintendo Direct last year? We've all been very curious because Doom was so exciting and such a good hit and such a great port. Same with Skyrim. What about Bethesda's other game, their newest game, Wolfenstein 2, which I think is such a huge win for Nintendo to have a game this new and fresh. And also this mature, hardcore shooter, whatever we want to call it, a game like that, so new and fresh coming to the Switch. It's huge news. And now that we're finally seeing footage coming from PAX, we can report that it's freaking awesome. The game looks great. It runs almost completely smoothly. Not entirely, but it really does run really, really well. And it's just exciting to know that this game didn't fall through the cracks. It didn't fall apart behind the scenes like some other games seem to have done. I'm looking at you, Steep and Ubisoft. And so it's just really good news, man, especially for myself as somebody who was dying to play this game, but was willing to wait and pass on the other versions. knowing that a Nintendo Switch version was coming at some point. It's like, you know what? This is a game I'm willing to wait on, to play it on my Switch, and to support this kind of game on the Switch, as well as to support Bethesda, the developer, on the Switch. I mean, honestly, I've been dying for some good first-person action on the Switch. And I admit, I definitely will admit, I so far have not picked up Doom on the Switch, mostly because since I already own and have played it to death and beaten it on the Xbox One, I was like, I really do want to support this on Switch, but it came out when like 100 other great games are coming out, and I was like, you know what? Since I have it on another console, this is one I can pass on for now. So the only other like true killer first-person shooter game that is on the system, I haven't played yet. But now we get Wolfenstein. I'm really excited to have a shooter on the Switch, and I mean, like I said, the surprise of it not falling apart behind the scenes is great, and also how absolutely good it looks. Panic Button, the company behind the ports of both Doom and Wolfenstein 2, are far outdoing themselves. They are really making a solid name for themselves, especially in the Switch port space. They deserve all the credit in the world for what they're doing. The game looks beautiful. I haven't seen any side-by-side comparisons, and I'm sure Digital Foundry will do their thing at some point, which is fine. I know people are kind of starting to turn on Digital Foundry the last couple of months or so. I think I'm not anti them. They're totally fine for what they do. So, you know, that stuff will come out, and it'll probably show what we already expect. The game doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles the other ones will. I'm sure that's the case. But it looks, when you just watch the game running in direct feed footage, it's great. And by the way, direct feed footage comes from Game Explain. I do want to give them props. You know, I have it running in the corner here behind me, but if you wanted to see the actual footage, I'm going to have it linked, so definitely check it out below so you can see it direct. But this direct feed footage, it looks so good, and it really shows how capable the Nintendo Switch is. Oh my goodness, with the right care and time and the right people behind it, you can make anything happen, man. It really looks fantastic. Frame rate looks fine. There's, you know, some of the combat that I watched, it did kind of dip and chug a little bit, but nothing significant. To me, it didn't look like anything game-breaking. And since we still don't have a release date, there might be enough time for them to continue to iron this out. There is no doubt it is a monumental achievement. When you think of games like that running on this, I mean, you see it on your TV, and your brain won't even think about it being a portable. You're like, oh, this is just my console game of whatever. But then you remind yourself, but wait, it's on the Switch. I can just pick that thing up and have it in my hand right here, and it's the same game. You know, with a game like this, it's really great. And I think it's opening up the doors for future ports of so many other great games, multi-platform third-party games that, you know, over the years, we probably never would have thought we'd ever see on a Nintendo console. But now I think it's possible. A, because Nintendo is willing to let games like this come to the console, and B, because they finally have hardware that's able to do it and able to make it happen, man. It is really exciting to see. Again, I highly recommend you check out Game Explain. It's like 25 minutes of footage. Definitely check it out. I just have it running, like I said, really tiny in the corner here so you guys can get an idea of it. It's pretty fantastic. So that's it. Just a couple of quick news stories and two topics I was excited to talk to you about because it's all good news. Even if we never get Spyro on the Switch, which will probably happen, but even if we don't, it's still great news to have that game announced. It looks fantastic, and finally seeing Wolfenstein 2 running on the Switch, looking so good, probably going to be released in the next couple of months, maybe right after E3 is going to be my guess, like maybe like a mid to late summer, like sometime in July. I'll just say July. Why not? I'm putting my money down right now. July for Wolfenstein 2. Sure, let's just see what happens. But either way, it is exciting, and I'm sure that game is probably coming along nicely. Will come out sometime very soon. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about Spyro? Are you excited? Are you upset we don't have a Switch yet? A Switch version yet? And how about the Wolfenstein footage? Is it impressing you? Are you excited for the game? Maybe you don't care about the game, or maybe you're disappointed by the footage. Whatever you feel, all opinions, of course, are always welcome. That is going to be it for me today. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.